what's up guys? Real quick, want to let you guys know that our BAJHEERA'S ARMY Twitch shirts are back on sale. So if you missed your chance to get one before, or you want to pick up another one, now's your chance. You got 16 more days to pick it up before the campaign ends, and all the shirts will ship out together. Hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the video. Hey, what's up guys? BAJHEERA here. So for this video, I'm going to be bringing you guys some 3v3 arena commentary as KFC. We're playing around 2500 MMR. But one of the main reasons I wanted to make a video like this is because a lot of you guys have been asking me for, rather than just sort of general warrior guides like macros, keybinds, basic abilities and stuff, I've seen that a lot of you guys are asking me for like 3v3 arena comp guides. Keep in mind that I will be posting a patch 6.1 arms warrior PvP guide along with other class guides. But since you asked for it, I did want to give you some more specific 3v3 arena guides. And one of the best ways I can do this is basically just record 3v3 arenas that I would normally post for you guys and just give commentary over it in terms of what we're doing and why. So, right off the bat, what are we playing? We're playing KFC, which is Hunter, Warrior, Healer. And you'll notice I'm playing arms in this because I'm playing in 6.1, and for me, I believe in 6.1, arms warrior is the best PvP spec, you know, by far. So, we're fighting up against a god comp, which is Resto Druid, Shadow Priest, Frost Mage. And one of the things we're going to try to do right here is put as much CC onto the Resto Druid as possible while hitting the Priest. The reason we're hitting the Priest here is because he is a less mobile target and takes a lot of damage. Hitting the Mage is a good option if you want to stop a lot of CC, but with some heads up play here, I reflect the Polymorph on me while fearing the Druid, which gets us some nice double CC and forces the Mage's Trinket. One of the most important things running KFC effectively is combining your CC with your partners in order to make some nasty CC chains like what you just saw there. Simply putting a full fear into a full trap forces the Resto Druid's Trinket and disperse out of the Shadow Priest because our Paladin followed up the CC chain with a Hodge immediately after the Resto Druid trinketed. And since we decided to hit Shadow Priest, this guy really can't get away from us throughout all the CC that this Resto Druid is tanking right now. Out of the Hodge, the Resto Druid gets hit with a Wyvern, and out of the Wyvern, I hit him with a really DR'd Stormbolt, but that alone is enough to score us the kill. KFC, especially when played with a Holy Paladin, has tons of instant CC, and even though they might not all be full duration, if you can pile on all your CC onto a healer, even if it's DR'd, if you avoid overlap, it can be a devastating combo that often leads to a kill. So we talked a lot about how we set up that kill using CC, but another question I see fairly often is when and how to use cooldowns, especially like offensive and defensive cooldowns. In this match, I was never really in that much trouble, wasn't forced to use any sort of defensives, but I will highlight when I used my offensive cooldowns. So let's go back and take a look at the setup for the kill. Once again, the reflected polymorph into the fear. At this point, we have two of the enemy team in full CC, leaving the Shadow Priest alone. So at this point, I'm going to charge the Shadow Priest, pop cooldowns right now because I see my Hunter throwing a trap over there. I'm going to pummel the Mass Dispel, and the reason I popped cooldowns when I did is because the enemy healer was in a full CC and unable to help his teammate. So by me popping cooldowns, that's going to force a response out of the enemy team or get us a kill. Now at this point, it does force the response of having the Druid Trinket, but we had enough follow-up CC that despite his Trinket, we were able to still get the kill. So, essentially, when is a good time to pop offensive cooldowns? When you have the enemy healer in a full CC. Now, obviously, for different comps, there are going to be different ideas, but that's a pretty general rule to go by. There are some comps where you want to pop cooldowns right off the bat every time no matter what because you want to get them in the game and you're thinking it's going to be a long game. But an extremely general way to think of it that it kind of applies outside of arena is you want to use your most powerful cooldowns when your opponent does not have a response for it, or you would like to force a response out of your opponent. Alright, with that, let's take a look at the next game here. This game is going to be, once again, still playing as KFC up against RMP. Now, RMP is a comp that is going to use that idea of using tons of offensive cooldowns after landing full CC on one or even two members of our team. So that's going to force a lot of defensive cooldowns out of members of our team and, you know, potentially lead to kills for them. What we're going to do to try to combat that is interrupt as much of that CC as possible. RMP is a comp that is going to rely a lot on setup. So what I'm going to do here, they're going to open up on me, and it looks like they're going to start hitting me. So my Hunter is immediately going to start dispelling the enemy Priest, trying to get that Fear Ward off so I can use our Fear both to set up CC for our team and interrupt the RMP opener. So the RMP faked an opener on me, and as the sap is ending on my Paladin, the Mage goes for another Polymorph. He begins casting an additional Polymorph, perhaps in case my Paladin trinketed, but I do land the pummel on that one. As the Rogue and the Mage both swap over to my Hunter, the Priest is going to land a Fear on both me and my Paladin. I'm going to use Berserker Rage on that Fear and use my Stormbolt on the Priest to begin setting up some CC to try to get some cross pressure. Now, my Hunter is in a smoke bomb right now, so I'm going to run into the smoke bomb and give him safeguard, which is going to make him take 20% less damage during this intense RMP opener. He still is forced to deter there, but is able to land a trap during the deter. So right now I'm polymorphed, but I'm also in the orb, so it's going to break me out of that polymorph. Since we've landed a full trap on the priest, it's time to try to go offensive. When we're fighting RMP, our main target is the mage, because he is in charge of a lot of the CC that RMP generates. So if we're able to stop polymorphs, then we're able to shut down a very large portion of the RMP setup. Essentially, this RMP is going to hit our Hunter the whole time. And once again, their goal is to set up as much CC, both on our Holy Paladin, obviously, to mitigate heals, but also set up CC on me so that I'm not able to stop their CC that they're trying to do, and also, you know, stop me from doing damage to them. I'm going to get a freedom right here, and we see that the priest finally has the fear ward dispelled off of him, so I'm going to run towards the priest, catch both the mage and the priest in a fear here. The priest is going to use his trinket on that fear, while I pop cooldowns on the mage. So once again, we get a fear on the priest. I'm going to pop a lot of cooldowns on this mage, which is going to force a response out of the priest. Now, unfortunately for these guys, my Hunter lands a sick power shot, which knocks him into the corner there. So even though the mage is getting penanced, he's not able to receive any bigger heals than that, and doesn't get a chance to ice block due to the insane burst damage that BM Hunters are capable of. So even though this game had kind of an unorthodox ending in that I think we caught these guys a little bit by surprise with the burst damage, I hope it highlights a little bit about how KFC fights RMP, in that you want to disrupt their opener as much as possible, try to land some counter CC while pressuring the mage both with damage and CC prevention. So, on to our next match. This is going to be KFC versus WLS, and now I know we've been talking about how you set up CC, pop offensive cooldowns when all that CC is in place, force trinkets and defensives out of your opponents. This is not that kind of game. WLS is a very difficult comp to fight as KFC, and time again, I feel like what ends up being the most effective for us as KFC, as lame as it is just straight up tunneling that blue. Especially with the Holy Paladin healer, our best bet is really essentially just to train the Shaman as much as possible and try to kill him before the Warlock and the Warriors spread pressure, eventually, you know, just grinds our team into the dust. So our essentially ends up being a little bit reversed, right? We're not going to try to land CC on the healer. We're going to try to charge in and pop cooldowns instantly. Try to keep this fight short if possible, and land CC on the DPS, preferably the Warlock, so he can't fear our team and get his dot pressure going. My goal as a warrior is to use pretty much all of my stuns on the Shaman and to keep as much uptime as I can, use my fear on the DPS, and just try to pour as much damage into the Shaman as possible, forcing cooldowns out of him, trying to keep this game as short as possible. Now, obviously, this is not the most tactically complicated game, but the reason I wanted to show you this is because people have asked. So, if you're having trouble against WLS as KFC and you have not tried just straight up trying to tunnel the Shaman, then go for that. Now, keep in mind, if you're playing something like a WLD with a Resto Druid, in that situation, it does seem like you can try to CC the Resto Druid and kill the Warlock. Warlocks are just such a tanky class, and even against RLD, we've had some success killing the Resto Druid. Now, the Resto Druids are harder to kill than a Shaman, I say, but at least this is a strategy that has some foundation to it. So if you're struggling against WLS and you're wondering what can you do, you know, go ahead and what can you do? Train that blue. So go ahead and give it a try. But you'll see, even in this match, the spread pressure, especially when we're letting that Warlock, to some extent, free cast on us. We are trying to trap the Warlock and trap the Warrior, trying to put some pressure on these guys and not let them play. But despite our best efforts, we still get cleaved down a bit. With some nice peels from the Warlock and some nice kiting from the Shaman, he does end up escaping our grass. So one of the main things you want to do, if that ever happens to you, if you do lose contact with your main target, go ahead and hit something else. Just keep damage rolling, because that will force the Shaman to come back into the line of sight of whatever you're hitting to heal him, which will give you an opportunity to potentially swap back to the Shaman. So the Warrior gets a little bit low. We force a die by the sword out of him, but even though he's not my real target, though, I definitely want to get back on this Shaman. But forcing cooldowns out of your opponent is always good. But look at our health right now. We're all in around 30%, 25%. So the Warrior swaps to me because I'm really low. Definitely don't want to get executed by him. So I'm going to pop my parry. And things are looking that good here, but you definitely want to hang in there. WLS can always look scary on your team's health bars once they get their damage rolling. But you got to put your faith in your healer. Put your faith in the deeps. Pop some cooldowns. Hopefully get this Shaman right around the corner. I get feared. Do I have my Heroic Leap? Heroic Leap around the corner. Can't get to him. Trying to pick a right side. Finally make contact with the charge. Gonna get a good Mortal Strike and a good Execute and finish the game off right before things turned for the worst for our team. So once again, not the best example of the finesse and beauty of KFC in terms of setting up CC and killing DPS, but sometimes you just gotta go for the healer. Alright, this next match is up against another Hunter comp, and Hunter comp mirrors end up being really fast-paced and intense games. And there are two main things that I'd encourage you guys to keep your minds on when playing these Hunter mirrors. Is that, one, you definitely want to be heads up and try to prevent CC on your healer when possible. You know, mass reflecting traps. I wish I was mass reflect for this game, but I'm not. But mass reflecting traps or, you know, intervening wyvern stings, things like that. Those are helpful, but one of the things that you don't want to do is be so mindful about stopping CC on your healer that you lose another very important aspect of what you're supposed to do in these mirror matchups, is do as much damage as possible. So definitely, by all means, be heads up and prevent CC on your healer when possible, but don't be so defensive and focused on stopping CC on your healer that you end up not dealing the amount of damage you need to do to capitalize on your team's CC. That's one of the things that I feel like I mess up on a lot in Hunter Mirrors. When I feel like I'm being ineffective, it's when I'm playing too defensively. So a lot of times in Hunter Mirrors, just go ahead and spec Mass Spell Reflect. Stay by your healer when he's in a CC that you think the enemy Hunter is going to try to trap out of. Be sure to, you know, intervene Wyvern Stings. But beyond that, your job is to put out as much pressure as possible to get ahead in terms of the damage race that a Hunter versus Hunter comp mirror is. So even though we're talking about KFC, and for this particular match, we're fighting another Hunter comp, there are three things that I would sort of encourage you to think about as we're rounding out this video. And I'll be sure to talk about these more in the future. But the basics of 33 Arena are, you know, prevent CC on yourself and your teammates, use your CC in conjunction with your teammates, and time your offensive cooldowns when the enemy team is in CC, and time your defensive cooldowns when members of your team are in CC, mainly your healer, since they'll no longer be able to provide you with heals once they're in CC. So for example, you know, my healer gets hit with a CC, he's not going to be able to heal me for a little while, I'll go ahead and use my enraged regen if I'm taking a lot of damage. But for starting off in 3v3 Arena in general, those are kind of three things to keep in mind. You know, preventing CC on your team, using CC on the enemy team, and timing your offensive and defensive cooldowns depending on the flow of the game. So back to this game. That was kind of a weird intervene for me. I was trying to stop a Wyvern Sting on my Paladin or something. I was not really sure what I was thinking, but we still despite me not being on the target, we still forced a Deterrence and Spirit Link out of the enemy team. So that's a lot of cooldowns out of them, and the Shaman doesn't have a Trinket right now. So I don't have any follow-up CC out of that trap, but I still have a good amount of damage. I got a big Mortal Strike coming up. This Hunter is dropping down really low. I'm going to Heroic Leap on top of him and try to execute him, but he feigned deaths there. I can still get the execute, and we end up scoring the kill while he's still dead. My Hunter's got the kill shot as BM took him out. So that was kind of a weird ending for that game, I feel, but hopefully this arena video has helped you guys. I'm absolutely more than willing to do more arena commentaries in the future. Just let me know how you like this video. Show it some love in the likes and in the comments. And like I said, I'd be more than happy to post some more of these commentaries for you. I feel like it helps me improve as a player too, you know. Going and looking at old arena footage, you know, watching game tape, making the adjustments, and learning from it along the way. So, once again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Show it some love if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace!